This is a story. The door. Where did we leave off? Oh yeah, that's right. Let's get into it. She called her landlord to tell the kid that there's no door down the hall because he kept saying, yes there was, yes there was. They called the landlord and said, hello, this kid said there was a forked door, blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff. And he said, I'll be right over. Okay. He hung up. When he got over, about 20 minutes later, she walked up to him and said, you didn't have to come over. I'm just asking you to tell him that there's no fourth door. And he said, I can't do that. Because what he saw was real. They walked up the stairs right next to the door. And said, the door. And said, yeah. When this place was built in 1897, there was a fourth door, but it was taken down because people heard scratching and screaming coming from there because an owner in 1902 killed himself in that room. They said they heard screaming and scratching and yelling, and one time somebody slept in there, and when they found him, he was unconscious, like he'd be beaten, but there was no bruises. But when he woke up, he had such dull eyes, creepy eyes. They didn't have any life in them. Yet, he was still breathing. His eyes began to come to color, and he was scared, frightened, and wanted to leave the house and never come back. Multiple times people moved out, and they still heard screaming and scratching. And one time, in 1953, a kid, about 7 years old, gone missing after he was in that room. There was no door. There was a closet, but that couldn't be it. There was a window, but the window was closed, and it doesn't seem like it's been opened because it was in the exact same spot. What could it be? I don't know. They never found him. They closed it down for quite a while until they opened it back up for his family. But before they did that, in 1989, they sealed it, shut it, and completely got rid of that door. Yet there was still scratching and screaming. Then they moved out in 1993, and that's when you guys moved in, he said. And then all of a sudden, from the door on the left, the one furthest down, they heard a bang, like boxes shifting. They opened the door quickly and saw the boxes had been moved from the storage closet, exposing a little door, like a crawl space that someone could just easily crawl into. This creeped them out. They called somebody over because there was a lock on the door, and there was no way to get the passcode because there was a bunch of numbers. And it'd been like impossible just trying numbers over and over again. They actually did do that for 5 minutes, gave up, and decided to call somebody. The person came over with a bunch of buddies and cut the lock and opened it. And there was a face. But then the face quickly moved away. They jumped back. And they noticed it looked like a hallway. A small little vent hallway, but big enough for somebody to crawl into. This puzzled them. The storage, the way the house is built, is that area against the wall would lead right outside. And if you were to go through it, if you were like to break the wall and then jump out, you jump straight onto the floor below. Meaning, what was this leading to? That's impossible. And there's no vent they could lead it to. It scared them. But they said, we gotta go in there. They called another buddy over that was a cop, examined it. Each one of them, 3 of them decided to go in. One of the buddies, not the guy that actually cut the lock, or one of the buddies of the guy who did. The landlord and the cop. The cop went first. The landlord went second, and the buddy went last. They were all given walkie-talkies. They called in. And they said, yep, we're in. It's that room on the side. The door. They said there is a door on the other side, but it looks pretty empty in here. They said, okay, get back to us in about 3 minutes. And they said, alright. 3 minutes later, they called in and said, you there? And then they heard the walkie-talkie inside. But the weird thing was, is there was no voice. And normally you hear this eerie sound, static or whatever, but there was no static. But you could hear the walkie-talkie from the other side. He said, there. They called it with a little button on the side that says call. They heard the ring coming from the other side of the wall. But no answer, no static. The mom decided, I'm going in to look. She only went halfway down and looked around and said, what? It's a dead end. There's nothing there. They got out. She said, yeah, it's a dead end. They're nowhere, no walkie-talkies there. Nothing's there. So, where did they go?